saying welcome to Tazim. It's lovely to have you on this legacy interview. Why don't you maybe start with telling me your full name, and then I would love to know about your wedding and how did that go? How was your proposal and your wedding day? Maybe describe that to me.
Okay, my name is Tazim Esmail, and I got married in Toronto. I was in Canada for almost 2 months, and I met a boy that I knew from Tanzania, and I was very lonely, so it was a good time, I guess, to get married. I felt at that time, and then after getting married, we moved to Calgary, and we've been here ever since.
And tell me, did you encounter any unexpected twists and turns in your life?
Yes, I found it quite difficult being a new immigrant. When I came to Calgary, I was very lonely because, again, didn't know anybody, and it was quite tough to adjust to the new way of life here, having nobody to depend on and stuff. And I had my children on my own and stuff like that. It was quite interesting because I was very used to a very big family around me in Africa, and it was really hard to adjust to being all alone. I think the first few years were pretty tough because I didn't really know too many people, and it was just me and my husband, and we worked hard to sponsor our family to bring them back here into Canada. So for each person, to sponsor each person, we had to have a certain amount of money in the bank and stuff like that. And it was quite tough, but we worked at 2-3 jobs at the time. So it was just work, work, work.
Wow.
Never had any free time. And we managed to bring the family here, which
that's
was
nice.
great.
So you got to expand your family here in Calgary as well.
Right, yeah.
That's lovely. And I know you had mentioned that you wanted to talk a little bit about your personal struggles health-wise as well, that was a big part, that is a big part of your life. Do you want to share something about that?
Yes, yeah. I had a child as soon as I got married. Within a couple of years, I had a child. And then right after he was born, I started feeling ill. And when he was about 6 months old, I ended up in the hospital, and they found out that I had a low platelet count. And after that, I became very ill. I died almost 3 times, I think. Yeah, 3 times I died, and they revived me and stuff like that. And this went on all through my 20s. It was 30 when I finally started feeling better. That too, because I was on chemotherapy, and I was expecting a baby. Which is really amazing. Because they told me that I was sterile because I was on chemotherapy, right? So I wasn't taking care, and I ended up expecting a baby. And the doctors felt that I should abort the baby because it would be not normal, something like that. But I didn't believe in aborting and stuff like that. So I carried full term, and I have a beautiful daughter who I just had a baby too. So, so it was just a miracle, I think.
No
It
kidding.
was a tough pregnancy, though. I was in the hospital most of the time in the Tom Becker Center while having the baby. And as soon as the baby was born, I was back on chemotherapy, and somehow something happened, and I was cured, and here I am. I'm still here.
Did you find that being so ill so early in life and almost losing your life a few times, did that change your perspective on things in life or how you look at life?
Yes, it did. Yeah, I was a pretty good looking person, and I had a nice job. I was an assessor with the city, and really prominent job and all this kind of stuff. And so I felt like I was something, right? But once I became ill and went through all that, I finally realized that life is not all about that. It's it was a very humbling experience for sure.
I bet. Did you have any sort of traditions in your family, around food or storytelling, anything like that? I don't know in Tanzania what if there's sort of traditions like that that you brought with you.
Yes, we eat food that's kind of a mix of Indian and African. And you couldn't find any ingredients here when I first came to Canada. So I learned to cook all these Western foods when I first came here because there was just no ingredients that I could find. But now you can find everything. So I actually learned to cook late in life again because when I came here as a teenager, so I really didn't learn how to cook and everything because my
Right.
mom already did everything, right? So it was kind of
Right.
learning new things all over again. And the best
Yeah.
thing is that during COVID times, I fine-tuned all my recipes and I wrote a recipe book. When I was showing the cookbook to everybody, and everybody was saying, which country are you from? Because these are all a mix of recipes. So this is what I've been cooking ever since I get to Canada. So
Wow.
there's spaghetti and Indian food and African food in there. So it's all a mix of all these cultures that
I love it.
I
It's
love.
very like
Yeah.
it's like Calgary, right? There's such a mix of people who live here. It's lovely to have a cookbook that has everything in it that probably would serve a lot of people.
That's true. Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
have a dish that you're the most famous for in your family?
Yes, I make a really good pilaf, and the people love that. Every time I go to anybody's house, they would say, "Oh, please make this," because they love what I do, right?
That's awesome. Tazim's pilaf.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
And that's perfect because a
yeah,
pilaf is all a mix of so many different things, right? So that's
it is. Yeah,
that's
yeah,
that's like
and
the style of your life and your recipe book.
through all my illness and all that stuff, I never believed the doctors. The doctor would tell me, that you're gonna die in 6 months. They told me to get my will ready and all that kind of
Mm.
stuff. And I did, but even then, I didn't believe that I was going to die. I just had this belief that I would survive. And I think that's what makes you survive.
Mm.
And even though my health is not the greatest, even right now, I've had a good life. I have 2 children, 3 grandchildren, and I see them all the time. And I'm not able to do as much as a normal person, but I still have a good life.
That's awesome. That's wonderful to hear. Thank you so much for sharing your story with me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.